Welcome back to another video in our AI rabbit hole series with Daniel Lynch. And these types of videos, if you're new here, we just like to go off tangent and kind of dive into some of the rabbit holes, as it's called, of AI. As Daniel and I talk every single day about the latest and greatest in AI. So we figured we'd bring this conversations to YouTube videos so we can share it with you guys as well. So, Daniel, for those who didn't listen to our first video on AI rabbit holes, we talked about HubSpot's AI updates last week. Do you want to just do a brief intro, kind of who you are and what you're doing here?
Yeah, so my name is Daniel Lynch. I'm the president and founder of Empathy First Media. I'm originally an engineer, very passionate about data-driven analytics and connecting the dots using algorithms and APIs, which is why I'm a huge fan of HubSpot, a huge fan of AI, and being able to actually see where we're going with technology that can help my businesses thrive as well as those of our clients.
Yeah, absolutely. So Daniel and I do marketing work together for various clients, high ticket lead generation, and we're diving into AI and how we can use it to enhance our work as marketers. So the topic today is going to be kind of a controversial one that you see everywhere in the doom and gloom news. Will AI replace marketers? Not jobs. I want to specifically talk about marketers, Daniel. So there's all these different aspects of marketing, and let's just start with high level. Do you think AI is coming after the marketing field in general before we go down the rabbit hole of each field of marketing?
I think that AI is coming for everything, Ryan, right? I mean, the reality is we're in the midst of an industrial revolution and that history tends to repeat. It may not always repeat in the same way, but it does at a minimum rhyme. And so if we look back at the printing press, the combustion engine, there were jobs that were completely that don't exist anymore, but there are new ones that were created. And so that the idea is that your role today and what you do day to day will be replaced at some point in some capacity, but it will not necessarily go away entirely. It will be transitioned to a new role, a new functionality using AI, where 10 people who are doing a job today can be replaced by one person using AI to get better results, efficacy of their work, an outcome that is more dialed in, more accurate, more precise, and very beneficial for us to get things done better and more accurately. And when it comes to marketing, this is the number one industry, in my opinion. There's a lot of jobs, there's a lot of industries out there, but digital marketing, marketing, sales, everything is just being completely leveled right now by AI, that everything is being automated, done better. Where if you're doing it manually, you will fall behind if you have not already.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to talk about is how AI can be used to enhance your work. And I personally believe on a high level that marketers who like embrace AI and use it to better improve the work that they're currently producing, I think those marketers will be ahead of the field versus the ones who are resistant to change. I think AI is coming for those people. I do these consultations all the time. People ask me, is AI going to come for my job? Da da da. And I look at them and I'm like, if you're asking that question, there's probably a good chance it will.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it firsthand with our agency, Ryan, that we've had some staff members that I terminated because they did not adapt to the expectations. That it's not that don't that I do not care that you don't want to use technology. It's just that if you're going to work with my agency and our team, it's not optional. Okay. Because that is how we get more work done, better results for our clients, and at the end of the day, generate a better profit, a better revenue for ourselves because we're getting a better product out there, we're getting better results. And as we've already seen, Ryan, using Anthropic and Claude's projects and artifacts, that we can create custom basically data sets and info bases that these language learning models can learn off of in the use case of, let's say, public relations, for example, and pitching reporters, that we got rid of two people. We gave one person who was empowered with technology a Claude project where we wrote out the instructions, the guidelines for the AI to follow. And that team member is getting more wins than all three of them did combine in between Pilates classes in a fraction of the time. Okay. Shout out to Paige Michael, RN, our girl.
Yeah, and
Eh,
for those listening who don't know what Claude projects are, I do have a separate video where I show how to create that. So anything that we reference, I'll try to leave something in the description below where you guys can learn more.
Yeah. And Ryan, I mean, you've seen firsthand with using AI. We also built custom websites using advanced custom fields that we sync to a spreadsheet, and then using an API sync with the cron job on the back end of WordPress using a template with these fields. We were able to dynamically build out and populate 300 landing pages in a matter of minutes that were all customized to a specific data set, industry figurehead, call to action, which phone number to use, which hyperlink to embed. And the beautiful part about this is we can actually then sync that to a CRM such as HubSpot using their content hub with content embeds, the Hub DB, and that we're just at the beginning that spreadsheets and databases are now becoming these central locations of truth that if the AI can take that information, pump it to a vector database such as Pinecone, which is what we use at Empathy First Media, integrate that with Stack AI, N8N.io, or any of these other connectors, you can do unlimited use cases and functionality to keep doing iterations until you converge on a unique solution that is ideal for the output. And then that is it. And you let it rip. And we are just at the beginning of this. We are in the AOL dial up where you have to wait 5 minutes to get internet and hopefully the image loads. That is where we are right now. So our goal and what I've been focusing on very in depth on my development side of our work is digging the moat for the data and trying to pump in as much data as possible, not knowing where AI is going, but just giving the AI the data that in 6 months to a year from now, we could make high resolution 4K videos. We can make any social media posts, any graphics, any content, any specific use case because AI is just getting going. And that's where we're at right now is trying to just fill the moat with data, as Dharmesh says from HubSpot, and then hopefully learning and making sure that we're staying on top of the newest tools and technology out there to keep leveraging that data to keep expanding our horizons of what we can do with it. And that is why some jobs in marketing will be replaced. They're not going to completely go away, but instead of you being, let's say, a glorified camera guy running around with a tripod, you realistically could have an iPhone using an AI app, uploading that to the cloud, already making the videos for you just to go review. And as long as you feel good with it, it can automatically schedule them on social media as well.
Yeah.
And that
And then
would,
you want to talk about videographers. Let's start diving into some of the actual aspects of marketing. We can start with videographers. I mean, you got Sora floating around in the background, which is OpenAI's tool. I don't know if you've seen Google VO, that's Google's version of Sora. So think about this, right? Eventually, you're going to be able to go into Google VO and you can use it, do a text prompt, and what's Google have at their disposal? Well, they have YouTube, Daniel. So they have all these drone footage or drone shots of almost every city that you can think of. So if you want a drone shot of St. Petersburg, Florida, you could hypothetically eventually go to Google VO, type that in. It could give you a 30-second drone shot versus what, the thousands of dollars you'd have to spend on a drone videographer. I mean, that's just one use case.
imagine this, Ryan, is that we're getting to the point where when you hired a photo video editor, which we've had at our agency on and off for years now, it's very tedious to go edit those videos, do the transitions. And if you could say, hey, here's 5 videos I like, I want you to take what's similar with all of them and create a concept. You've done 80% of the work up front to storyboard, to outline what it's looking for. And then it would say, would you want this video or that video? Or do you think this goes here? And the more you use it and do what's called fine tuning the inputs and outputs, it will start to give you more and more of what you want. And I just imagine everybody with a Apple VR headset just talking to Final Cut Pro or Adobe Premiere, or whatever the next video tool is, that just immediately goes to the internet, pulls every video out there, and says, "Oh, I like this. Well, we need to make it original. So I'll take that drone footage of St. Pete, that beautiful pier for sunset, make my own version of it that looks exactly the same, where it's now original, right?
And then you
And
train
then
it, right, with your brand voice, your brand tone. You can upload colors, typography. You're training the models to get the output with your voice attached to it.
Exactly. And that's the beautiful thing that people don't realize is the more you use it versus fear it, the more it will learn what you want and make it easier for you to get that. And that's why I tell everybody every day on our team, just go in there, get micro wins, just go fail, go mess around with these language learning models and just see what you can do. Because whether it's PR, social media, SEO, it can help you do your job better. There's not one thing it can't help you do better in 2024 going into 2025 when it comes to digital marketing, SaaS. I mean, I don't know if you've heard of Replit, Replit. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but you can go in there and say, hey, I want to design this app. Here's some examples, and it will write all the code, deploy it. It has the server architecture, the framework, and you can design your own SaaS tool on demand.
And you could
It's
even
not.
use Claude or OpenAI to help you with code now.
Well, yes, this is even better though, because what it does is it takes it. So if you write the code, you still have to know how to put the Python and deploy it on
Which
the
is out of this is all
architecture.
out of my element. You're a lot more
Well, yeah.
technical than I am. Yeah.
No, yeah. Well, because I was trying, Claude and ChatGPT are really good for like, let's say you need a snippet or you need the Python, specific function. But what's beautiful about Replay is it literally deploys it where it can just start running live on a server, and then you pay for the server usage, which takes away so much headache of AWS. And are you going to have a droplet on Digital Ocean? And that stuff is very confusing and tedious to set up. And Versal also launched their own AI builder, right? So we're now transitioning to where it's gone from text to photo to video to multimodal with all of that at the same time to now building apps with all of that at the same time. And it's going after one use case after another because the more we start using it, the more it's like, well, what else can we automate? And no one care. I mean, I hate to say this, but you know, the invisible hand theory of Adam Smith and economics, this is well known. People always do what's in their best interest. We are self, we have to focus on ourselves in order to survive and evolve as a human. That's just how we are. We always do what's in our best interest. So if we can eliminate the cortisol and stress of doing things manually, why would you? And it's unfortunate that some people will lose their jobs. Some people will not have the skills that are evolved for modern times, but that this is nothing new. This is what happened in the 1920s with the combustion engine, and before that, people were saying, I'm a horse and buggy driver. They had probably some type of coalition to fight against
They had
change.
taxis probably for horse and buggies or whatever.
Yeah, or the big one I saw were the people who push the plows in the field saying, no,
Mm.
a tractor and a combine will never replace us. And it's like now we have, AI powered combines probably that are just going around. They've had John Deere's had those for a while where there was no one even driving it. It was just going around cutting the corn in Iowa, right? Because there's
Yeah, I
just
mean
so much
AI's
corn.
been leveraged before ChatGPT was launched to the public in 2022. Agriculture being a prime example of that.
Yes, exactly. And so anybody who thinks that by just standing, like we're looking right now at the strikes with the ports of people
Mm.
saying, hey, like, we're going to go on strike, which will have economic consequences. They do have leverage. But what they don't realize is that all they're going to do is just push people to use AI more efficient and then be replaced. If you go look at China right now of what they do for their ports, they have like a boiler room of all these people that are controlling all of the different things with AI, just
It's
making
like a
sure it's
video
going
game.
proper.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just over there. It's like a room full of nerds with joysticks moving all this equipment using robots. Versus in America, we're over here protesting, which everybody has the right to do that. Don't get me wrong. But when you've also asking for this huge financial raise and all these benefits, well, at some point the business case comes around saying, why don't we use a machine for that, just like they do in Amazon? And that in an economic, capitalistic driven society, people have to look at what is going to make good sense for business. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people who are stuck in the middle of that. But that's why I say you got to keep evolving. You've got to keep getting new skills. If you're someone who's saying that's not fair to me, just realize you need to step up so that you do have a place at the table versus saying I deserve one. You need to earn one. And that's the
Yeah.
same thing with digital marketing, with everything we're doing, is that it will keep evolving and people will be stuck in the fallout of this as we have an economic recession. But you have to keep evolving. And that's why at Empathy First Media, you know this, everybody on our team knows this, our clients, I get every SaaS tool as it comes out. I literally demo them, I buy them, I try to get the enterprise version. That's probably one of our biggest expenses every month is this huge SaaS bill. I'm SaaS broke. But guess what? I've also automated significant amount of things so I don't have to keep hiring staff.
This man will
And
roll out the Amex on SaaS tools, but it pays off long term. You know, it's an investment.
I will always throw down the Amex on a new SaaS tool. I'm undefeated with that, right? And I love getting on their development teams and beta teams. So with HubSpot, CallRail, AirCall, we have a new tool I haven't told you about, Ryan, that we're working with called Coefficient, which is going to be syncing database spreadsheets to do like two-way syncs between different tools. And I'm trying to meet with their product development team because that is the future is how quickly can you move data around and sync it without even thinking about it?
So if
And
you
making
see
sure
this
that
guy's face soon on HubSpot, CallRail, Coefficient, all these big AI tools, don't be surprised because he's already got some opportunities coming up here soon.
yes, that is correct, Ryan, and I love it. It's my passion. It's the best use of my engineering degree I've ever had.
Yeah. So I
So
want to talk about content creators and social media people, Daniel, because in my opinion, when it comes to marketing, those are probably the first wave of people to be affected or to be laid off, right? Because when you look at content creation, especially now, I mean, back when ChatGPT first rolled out with GPT 3.5, I'm like, you know what? This doesn't even make sense yet to outsource, in my opinion. The models were so bad at that point. But now we got GPT 4.0. We even have O1 Overview. We have Claude 3.5 Sonnet. And if you train these appropriately inside Claude projects or custom GPTs, the outputs in terms of content creation are superior, in my opinion, to most content writers and social media people out there. That's my take on it.
yeah, I mean, the reality is, Ryan, we have to look at the writing on the wall here. Is that most people who are content creators and do social media, they thrive on vanity metrics, and their work actually
It's a good
generates
point.
next to no ROI. And that as more data driven revenue operations, RevOps is what it's called, looks at what is generating our bottom line with lead gen, getting customers who are paying. Social media has a huge place for that. Social media can move the needle, but the average person who does social media overvalues themselves. And honestly, in my opinion, is 1,000% useless. They are just useless humans to have on your team unless they are really good. They understand the algorithm. But when you have someone who just takes a Canva template and changes a couple words on it and doesn't understand how they should visually be appealing, but they get 100 likes, they're like, I deserve $100 an hour because I got 100 likes. And I'm like, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
how did
No,
those likes translate to sales? I don't know. Just answer that question.
well, the funny part is, Ryan, they probably outsourced it to their VA somewhere and wasn't even doing it, but they're like trying to run a content creation agency. And that's why that area will be disrupted because copywriters, social media, content creators, you have to understand the algorithms. And if you don't understand the algorithms, you're also not going to be able to get the right content out of the AI. We're very big on listicles for social media with our clients. We've seen the needle move with that and other strategic playbooks using hooks and ways to gather and foster attention and retention on videos. Most people don't think of it like that. They think, oh, just because I posted something, it's a glorified participation trophy. I should get rewarded by this. And what we've seen happen with some of our clients where we built up their Instagram and TikTok from nothing to 50, 60, 70,000 followers fairly quickly. And we even have someone on our team page who's an influencer with I think she has like 160,
Yeah.
170,000
Peanut
followers.
physique on Instagram.
Shout out the peanut physique. Shout out the peanut physique. Yes. And knowing how to manipulate those algorithms, that's everything. And so if you give someone who is a true content creator like Paige, let's say, and say, hey, I want 10 videos, here's the media library to choose from. I want to have this listicle, I want to have this hook, or give me 10 variations of a hook. Most people who create content don't even know what a hook is. The hook is what actually gets
The
people
hook
to
is everything.
stop. The hook is everything. The most important part is the hook. And you have people, but look at my still image of Canva from here that everyone else has used. And I put the logo, but the logo colors don't even match the other colors. I'm like, yeah,
Look at
well, it's
every
like
post, or whether it's YouTube, social media, whatever it is, look at every post that ends up taking off. You can always tie it back to the hook somehow, some way. Have you seen these 5 truths about this? Have you seen that SEO is dead, right? Those are examples of hooks that your attention's garnered and then boom, you're there and it boosts the engagement. The algorithm sees that and then it rewards you.
10 warning signs of mold
10
toxicity.
warning
It's my
signs of
top
mold toxicity. Yeah.
10 warning signs of mold toxicity was the
That's a
top
hook.
converting. That was the top converting hook of all time for one of my clients. Yes. We realized that this one blog post, one social media post, everything would always crush the game.
Warning
It would
signs, right? Using these buzzwords that marketers love, secrets, truths, stuff like that.
Yeah, the truth about cancer. cancer secrets from a holistic cancer expert, 5 things you need to know, 4 reasons you need to read this. Or if you even watch the videos, what people really get is like, hey, you got to stay around to the end so that way you could get this one really critical piece of information.
And then it boosts their watch time. The algorithm sees that, sends it to other people to watch more.
Well, if you look at the analytics, and most people don't understand how to analyze data, but it's a reverse decay logarithmic scale, so it goes like this over time. And the more that you can keep that inflection point to the right of where the concavity kind of just bottom out like this, if you can get that to go like this as far to the right as possible, well, that's basically correlated with, how many people are going to see that. And the number one metric I always say for social media is not how many likes or comments you get, but how many non-followers did it hit?
That's
That is
true.
the number one. That's the
Organic
number
reach.
one. Organic reach. Yes, Ryan. So, but when it comes to content, man, like copywriters and stuff, I mean, we can crush that today. One of our clients used to use a professional copywriting service where they paid 25 grand for all these blogs. And I'm not going to say that they weren't good blogs. Back then they did put the time into it, but using Claude with, projects and artifacts and
Perplexity.
perplexity, all these different things, we literally can save that $25,000 right now.
It
So
would cost
I
us a
have
hundred plus time, maybe.
little API
Yeah.
key
Yeah.
usage on Amex, that's about it. But what's crazy though is that those copywriting companies, now I went to that same company and looked at their website recently. Now they're offering a service where they will manually review and rewrite AI blogs for you, right? Because
Interesting.
at least they're evolving. They saw I mean, can you imagine owning a copywriting agency and the day you woke up and saw AI come about? And you're
Dude,
like,
that ruined. Think about Upwork, Fiverr, onlinejobs.ph. I mean, that wiped out half of their business right there.
Well, I think it was so funny because I actually had hired 2 people from that copywriting agency at one point. That was before you joined us, Ryan. And I remember them telling me, Daniel, you can't use AI. It's not accurate. It hallucinates. It has this and that. I said, but where is it going? Why are you so closed-minded to think that it's literally, they said, there's no way it will replace what we do. And I said, are you just that brain dead and stupid to actually believe that?
That's
We're, this
fear.
is Yeah, that's fear. And you're trying to tell me because that's how you're biased, because that is how you survive. And that is why people who are closed-minded and biased to what serves them versus looking at the writing on the wall, that is the people that will not have a job
Yeah.
because they're refusing to evolve and adapt. And movement is survival, Ryan. You have to keep moving. You have to keep trying to innovate and stay curious about what else is out there because you will get leapfrogged if you don't.
I think of AI as Moore's law times 100. I mean, Moore's law, everyone knows about that one, but AI is adapting at such a rapid pace where it's hard to even, like, Pika just had a huge update where now their video model looks more realistic. And then there's a new one from ChatGPT the other day. It's like this stuff evolves at such a rapid pace. And the point I'm trying to make here is that even if you say, well, I'm just going to stay stagnant, right? I know the basics and that's all I need to know. I'm not going to learn anything else. Even staying stagnant by default means you're on the decline because this stuff is moving so quick that if you don't stay with it and you remain as is, you're going to by default fall behind.
Yes, that's 1,000%, Ryan. And if everyone, I go back to that quote I said earlier that history may not always repeat, but it tends to rhyme. Is that if you go look at when the internet started and Netscape was the number one browser and everybody was using AOL.com for their email and internet access and AIM, no one uses that anymore. And that what we will evolve with that will define the number one use case for this, those tools and those brands and those founders, they haven't even got started yet. They're still like where we are, just curious. And that all it takes is someone to come up with a new idea and use case and be able to execute on that. And now AI is completely a whole new world for society. Like when we have this, we haven't had Sam Altman is kind of the Steve Jobs of AI, but wait till we truly do have a Steve Jobs of AI that just comes and just is a mover and shaker and just completely redefines everything and says, well, I know this is how society is supposed to work, but this is what I see.
Right.
Another Elon Musk. Imagine when we find those people who can build and innovate to keep driving growth and innovation and actually have modern day adoption of these tools, it's going to be wild.
I think
Where I
Darmesh
don't,
could be thrown in that bucket too. I mean, a lot of people that aren't marketers probably aren't familiar with HubSpot or Darmesh, but I think he's working his way up.
well, he's on the leading cutting edge right now of creating an AI agent marketplace with HubSpot, where HubSpot's I'm huge. I'm biased towards HubSpot guys. I'll be honest about that. I love HubSpot. I'm going to get the tattoo soon.
He's not
Um,
sponsored though, not yet.
not sponsored yet. But you look at what Dharmesh is, he's originally an engineer, so he can code and everything, but he saw the vision for HubSpot, a CRM, a marketing, an all-in-one suite. But they've lowered their pricing model now for the average business to get in there and do more functionality. Their free plan, you get a lot of value on that free plan. The pro plan, you can get sales enterprise for 150, build custom objects, where now the average small business that didn't think HubSpot was going to do anything for them, a plumber, a real estate agent, anybody, there is value there because now it's going to be able to, an AI agent can field your phone calls, it can create your social media, it can write your emails, it can do your prospecting. And that's just the beginning of this. And it's going to keep integrating. And what people also don't realize about HubSpot, it has the biggest app marketplace. So imagine the Apple App Store in 2008 getting ready to just take off the runway, but for AI agents. But instead of it being a whole new marketplace for the AI agents, it already has the App Store with the marketplace of integrations where HubSpot integrates with just about every other tool known to man. So whether
That's
it's your
crazy.
HR, yeah. And so it's now merging, and he's a visionary for that nexus where they're intersecting with automated workflows, API databases that are able to enrich the data and then give them this value and that value and format everything. It's there's the sky's the limit right now with all this stuff.
Because right now we have the custom GPTs and the GPT store, but when it comes to like connectivity and APIs, there's only so much that you can do with these right now, as that's a very closed source system. So with HubSpot agents coming, being open source, being interconnected with everything, I think that's going to be a game changer.
And what it is too is it's going to have the UI where the average person who's not a developer can leverage a lot more of these tools.
Yeah.
So,
And if we keep getting off track here, but I want to dive into one last question here, Daniel, before we finalize this off. So, if anyone's watching this and they're a marketer, they're a student, content creator, or just an entrepreneur who does marketing for their business, and they're thinking to themselves, wow, like I'm behind, what can I do? What would you tell that person on where to start? Besides watching this YouTube channel, of course.
I would 100% tell everybody to just go make mistakes and fail and go do something that you think you can't do. And instead of trying to build Rome in a day or climb a mountain, go after micro wins. Go sign up for a new tool or check it out. Go into Claude, Anthropic, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Mistral, and just go run some prompts and just see what it looks like. And when it comes to SaaS and looking at AI agents, all I can tell people is find an idea you have in your head and just go build. Don't get romantic. Don't think you're going to go crush the game. Just go send an email and see how it goes with your open rate. Go build a website and see if anybody actually finds it and have analytics. And then if someone does find it, study how they found them and then replicate that. And
Yeah.
just find those small wins that you can get consistently and then keep building on them as your foundation and realize that for anything in tech, it's going to take 6 months to a year of you doing this before you're going to have any skills that truly translate.
I always tell people to have an AI mindset first, or AI first mindset, right? So if you think about before AI or generative AI in 2022, if you didn't know how to solve something or if you didn't know the answer to a question, what was your solution, Daniel? You'd go to Google, you'd bug a coworker, you'd bug your boss, you'd open a textbook in certain cases, right? Well, now with AI, if you don't even know where to start, pull up ChatGPT, pull up Claude, pull up Perplexity, and just start asking it things and see what it comes up with. Because you would be amazed how many times I run into this myself, whether it's looking for new YouTube videos to create. I'll open up ChatGPT or Perplexity, I'll have it study certain channels, I'll have it study certain things in its database, and it comes up with 10 ideas. And I'm like, wow, I never thought of that. And then the writer's block snaps and I'm off to the races, and I can ask for a title, description, thumbnail ideas, right? The opportunities are really endless with this.
Yes, that's 1,000% right, Ryan. And kids these days, they don't realize, man, we had to do it all manually. There was no AI for us to go ask for help. We had to go, deploy the scientific method and have a hypothesis. test it, see if it worked, and there was no one to come save you and ask for help at 2 a.m. when you had a deadline the next day.
Also
So
think about this too. Like when I talk to people about ChatGPT Plus, most people are still stuck in this like scarcity mindset of like, oh, I don't want to pay $20 a month for that or $20 for Claude. And I look at these people and I tell them, I'm like, this is an investment. You have no idea the amount of ROI a subscription in ChatGPT Plus can do for your business. So I think it's like reframing that mentality of investing $20 into one of the most powerful tools that exists today that could 10x, 50x your current operations. And it's so weird how people think about stuff like this.
And that's why, Ryan, to be completely honest, when we have clients that are so cheap with things like that, I don't want to work with them. Because if you don't have the budget to invest in the right tools to get the ROI, you can't put the pressure and the stress on the agency or the team to cover the difference when you're the one who's not investing that has the most to gain with this. And that's why, like with our team, our company, you know that I probably spent, I don't know, $12,000 a month on
It's a lot.
software. And I have no regret on that. I love paying those bills because I love my SaaS tools. Because I know that at the end of the day, if I'm in a crunch or something and I have all these tools dialed in, I can go build out things that take me weeks in a matter of minutes.
Yeah, and you've learned a lot from diving into each one of these tools, and it's all kind of sharpened your AI SaaS toolkit now.
Well, that's why you got to be standby for the next SaaS tool I'm working on because I've been in the dev stage now for a couple months. So
Yeah, stay tuned for a new marketing SaaS tool.
I don't know if it's going to be quote unquote marketing. I just want to have something that is value driven that helps people accomplish goals that are difficult using AI. It could be a website, which would be marketing, but it also could be helping doctors build an IV therapy protocol based
Yeah,
on integration with Wolfram Alpha on the biochemistry of what should be mixed or you shouldn't have glutathione and vitamin C mixed because it will oxidize. And
right.
having that explanation, because you'd be surprised how the average nurse who runs an IV therapy business doesn't understand this stuff, nor even does a doctor. But if they had an AI tool, they would be empowered because they do have the background, but they would just never have any exposure because of the corrupt healthcare system that runs rampant in our country. So,
Yeah. Well, I'll leave it there. Yeah. So I appreciate all of you who have made it this far into this version of AI rabbit holes. I look forward to continuing this series with Daniel. We're going to dive into all sorts of topics like this. Will AI replace marketers? We'll dive into different tools, the latest and greatest in the world of AI. So again, appreciate you being here. Be sure to subscribe, like, leave your thoughts below if there's a certain topic you want us to cover. Daniel, thank you so much again for your time. I know you're a busy guy. You got a lot going on, but yeah, appreciate it. And be sure to tune in again for the next video.